Good morning. Happy Saturday. And here we are live. No, I'm not supposed to be live. I'm supposed to be working on other card designs. But, sometimes you just want to procrastinate, right? I'm sure nobody else can relate, right? So I popped over to the studio this morning so that I could work on some card designs. And I was sitting here and I was like, you know what? I should do another installment of the 45 cards for 45 years. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do 16 cards from one sheet of paper. And so you could call it a one sheet wonder if you want, but the paper that I'm using actually tells you how to cut it. So there's no special fancy template or anything like that. We're using the square snippets paper. So that's what we're going to do. So good morning, Kathy. Oh, it's early for you. All right, let's see here. Okay, oh, there's my desk. Let's see here. Still working on learning all this stuff. Okay, there we go. And you can see my tea here. All right. So we're just gonna set some things aside. I've got tea ready to go and cough drops so I can make it through this. 16 cards, or it's gonna be fun. All right, so I am going to use the square snippets paper. That's what this is called. Square snippets. And so this has a couple of different designs of, pull one out here. There's different squares, and there are 16 squares on here. So you can kind of see how I have an easy one sheet wonder, so to speak of, but this is how we're going to make 16 cards because we're going to use every square on the sheet. Now, I'm not actually using this sheet. There's two different versions. Let me see, let's pull this one out. This is actually the version I'm going to use here today is this one. So I'm going to do these 16 squares. But if you like this design, you could easily just grab the second one and you could make 32 cards. So, and I think there's like 3 of each. Let's see here. It's kind of a different paper pack. No, there's 4 of each sheet. So, and then there's also a sheet that has 4x4 square. That's the paper pack we're using. Okay. So I have gone through and I have cut out the 16 squares. Okay. I figured, hi Pat, you guys, I'm actually live right now. Surprise. So you're not watching a replay. So I'm trying to find a place to put this where it's not going to fall over on me. Okay, I think we'll try that. Now, you could actually do this with any piece of 12x12 because you can just cut your paper to 3x3 squares. So they don't have to be already designed into squares. You could just cut them that way yourself. So, whether you mix and match your front and back or anything like that. So I'm going to make 2 different two basic layouts, I guess we'll say, and then we're going to look at different ways we can complete each of those layouts. So we're going to start here with this one. And I've already done a lot of cutting because to make 16 cards, there's a lot of pieces. So I've prepped ahead some things so that we can just put our cards together. So we're going to start, we've got our card base. This is cloud cover. And then I've got a piece of cardstock measuring 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. So not a square, 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then we've got 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. This is Secret Sea and cloud cover. So I'm going to put those 2 together. Okay. And then I'm going to take this square and I'm actually going to grab my trimmer. And for this first one, we're just going to cut it at a diagonal. so we've got our 2 triangles. And I'm going to put them on here. I'm going to leave about the same kind of 1/4 of an inch border. So that helps me know where to place my triangles. But we're just kind of spreading out that square on our rectangle cardstock pieces. So there we go. Okay. And so then I just need to finish this off. So I am going to grab, you know what? I think some of this I am just kind of designing on the fly. We're going to see how this works. So let's see. I think I've got some ephemera here that I have pulled out to use for this card. So I've got a cactus, and let me move these embellishments out of my way. And then I've got a little banner and a little tiny thinking of you, and it's very tiny. And so I am going to, and this thinking of you does not come from the sticker pack, so I gotta reach through here. We're gonna try some glue dots because it's a pretty tiny sentiment. So we'll just see if we can fit some glue dots on here. I can always kind of fold them over if they're too wide, which I think they are in a little bit of spots. Just kind of crease that over, make sure I don't have any exposed. And then I'm going to stick that here on the banner. There we go. All right, let's see here. So I am going to dimensionalize this. So put that all on here. And the fun part about this is even though you're making 16 cards with squares, you can easily mix up how you create. And so they don't all have to look exactly the same. So I am going to put this on here. Yeah, I think we're going to do it kind of like that. So I'm just going to stick a little bit of adhesive back here. Well, let's see. Do I want dimensionals? I think I'm going to dimensionalize this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive back here so that I can put my pot together. We're going to overlap the sentiment here a little bit. And then I can take this whole thing and I can dimensionalize it. Now this one, the pot and the actually also stickers, but I don't want to use them flat. I want to pop them up. And so I'm just putting dimensionals right over the backing. So we'll add a few mini ones out here on the banner. There we go. And then we can peel all these backings off. Okay, so we can get those little ones like to get under my fingernails and get stuck. Okay, so we're just going to add our little element here, and then the embellishments that I want. I gotta grab my in color pearls here. You know, I have a very loose concept of kind of what I want the card to look like. But it's not until it comes together that I start to see, okay, it would look good with these embellishments and, you know, this ephemera. So one option for your cards for these 16 is right here. So we cut at a diagonal. And what I would do also, which we'll just do really quick, is I would also put a piece of white on the inside. Even though cloud cover is nice and light, and could be, you know, you could absolutely write on the inside of cloud cover. I like the finished look of an insert on the inside. Okay, so let me show you what I did with some of the other panels here. So cutting them in diagonal again. I've taken half of the panels and I've used the banner punch, and I've just finished them with the banner punch. So a few more ideas for using these panels. So this is one layout. I'm going to show you another layout that we can do. And these, because the triangles take a little bit to adhere and, you know, all that because of the funky corners, I went ahead and just put all of these cards together. And then I thought we could do the other half here together. So just some ways to mix and match with your baker's twine and your ephemera. And then, of course, I showed using this here instead of the baker's twine. So that's half of the squares. So then another design that we can do. Okay. So once again, we have our 3x3 square. We're still working on that same sheet of paper. But this time, instead of cutting rectangles, I cut squares. So my yellow here is 3.5 by 3.5. And then my pool party is 3.25 by 3.25. And so what I did when I was looking at this sheet of paper, when I cut out all my squares, I took each square and I decided what color did I want directly underneath this. And whatever color that was going to be, which is my 3.25 inch square, is also my base color. So that took up 2 of the pieces really quick and easy. And then I just had to pick a second color to be in between. So as you can see here, it puts our color combination together very nicely. And so it was easy to just sit here in front of all of my cardstock and just grab all the colors that I wanted. And then I just cut everything at the same time. So I cut all of my 3.5 inch squares at the same time, and then 3.25. And obviously this was just from the sheet of Designer Series paper. So, okay. I am going to use this Misty Moonlight in White starter ribbon pack. And I'm going to start with, we're just going to put a piece over the front here. Put it a little towards the bottom so I don't cover up too much of those pretty flowers. And then I've started using Scotch tape now when I put my ribbon on the back because it's just so secure. So I'm not worried about my ribbon coming undone once I've made my card. So just regular old Scotch tape. Okay. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to tie a bow here. I like to tie it while it's still attached to my spool because I find I waste less ribbon that way. So once you get it tied, then you can kind of finagle it. I always keep it loose until I have it where I want it. And I can make my little loops straight, you know, or crooked if that's what you're looking for. But before you tighten that knot, you can kind of play with it and finagle it into the spot that you want it. Okay. So I am going to use, so the other day on our All Good Cards Club video, somebody said they were working on Easter cards. And I thought, oh yeah, I should probably work on Easter cards. So I think I've got a couple in here that are going to be Easter. So we're going to put Happy Easter here. And then I'll use I might run out of glue dots on this video. I mean, I have more, but I just mean I might actually use up this whole roll. It's always kind of fun when you go through a whole roll of glue dots. Okay, and we're just going to stick that right next to it. There we go. So then I'll end up putting a white insert on the inside as well. It looks like I scored a little too hard on my paper, so I'm just going to trim that little rip off. It just cracked the top layer of my cardstock, so I can just trim that right off. Okay, so this is another option, is to use your 3-inch square and just put squares behind it instead of rectangles. So let's make some more of these. So I've already taped together my squares. So we're going to use this little hello ephemera. I rated my ephemera packs for this video. I'm going to curl my tape boogers around the back so they're not sticking out. We don't want any stickiness on the front of our card. Okay. So put hello. And then right here behind my plant, I'm going to stick that guy on there. Okay. So this one, I think we'll just tape this square set flat. So my color combination here, I'm using Poppy Parade and Petal Pink. And then I've got a Poppy Parade card base. And then we'll add some dimensionals here to our banner and our plant. And just see if we can come up with some different ways to finish some of these. I'll have to go through and find some embellishments too. So, all right, so here we've got another square card, and we'll just kind of lay these out as we go. All right, so for this one, I'm just going to use a white base, and I've got Strawberry Slush is my other color here. And we are going to use You Make Life So Rosy. So I'm going to tape this on the front of my pot. Just going to put that right here. To those of you who are asking, yes, I am feeling better. It turned out I had bronchitis, and so they put me on some antibiotics, and this is day 3, I think, of the antibiotics, and so it is helping a lot. Still lots of coughing, but mostly when I lay down. So you guys are all staying healthy wherever you are. Okay, we're going to put some ribbon on this one. So I did figure out my ephemera ahead of time, because otherwise we would sit here for an hour while I tried to mix and match all my ephemera. But in terms of adding ribbon and stuff like that, I'm just kind of making it up as I go. So that's part of the fun of a design like this, because you've got 16 squares. So you can kind of mix and match and see how many different ways can you create with the 16 squares. So it's kind of fun to to play around with some different options here. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. I think I have another sheet of dimensionals right here. I love starting a brand new sheet of dimensionals. So I am the type that I will do a line all the way around my dimensionals, and then I cut the edges and I use all the edges, and then I do all the middle pieces. I'm sure that that's different from how you do yours. I have, oh, that's not gonna work. I gotta use a smaller one. I have a helper here at the studio who does the very middle first. They pick out the absolute like middle one and start from there with their dimensionals. Some people start from one corner and kind of fan across, but I don't know why I do it that way, honestly. It just, somehow I got started with it, and now it's just kind of my habit to do my dimensionals that way. Okay, so you make life so rosy. There we go. I'll move this. And then this was kind of an interesting square. So it is garden green, and it's almost lined like notebook paper. So this line right here, though, is pretty in pink. And so I used pretty in pink for my color combination here. And then I thought we could bring in some flowers here. We're just kind of doing cards for a variety of occasions. So, where's my, there we go. So we'll add our squares here. So we got our pretty in pink and our garden green. There we go. Okay, got some dimensionals here. All right, so add my flower. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Oh, I made it so far, you guys. Let me put in a cough drop. See if that'll help. Okay. So I'll add my hello and the flower. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry, you guys. I made it so far. This was part of why I pre-assembled some stuff, because I was worried about my cough. All right. So I'm going to take this one, and I want to do a ribbon and a bow for this one, because I think it's going to look pretty with the bouquet that I have chosen. And I'm going to do it down below again for the words. All right, so we've got our square taped down. So I'll just add it to the front. And then I wanted to put this on here. So I'm going to dimensionalize the flowers across the top. Then this one, I need to make sure that my dimensionals are really close to the edge because I need some of them to catch the designer series paper and not just be on the ribbon. Because if my dimensionals only adhere to the ribbon, then I'm going to end up with a floppy sentiment piece. So I'm getting them super close, kind of alternating top and bottom, so that I can try to get that to adhere to the designer series paper. And it worked. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to tie a bow here. Oh, Phyllis, I hope I get over it too. We are leaving Wednesday to fly to Phoenix. And so definitely don't want to be doing this while I'm traveling. All right. Okay, so I've got my little bow here. And we're going to glue dot it. And I want to put it right here because I thought that would look really cute. There we go. Of course, I'll go back through and add embellishments to all of these, but I'm trying to make it through. I'm trying to make it through the major design before perhaps my cough won't let me go any further. So, all right. So that's 5 of them. Let's see what else we got here. All right. This one was a little harder with the color combination. So it is Darling Duckling is what I've used here, I think. Yeah, Darling Duckling. And then I just paired it with white because there really wasn't much other color going on here. And then I was looking through this ephemera pack. So this is the, these come from, it's oh goodness, it's sitting right here. It's the Easter Time Mix and Match ephemera pack. That's where this ephemera comes from. And so I found one that had a little bit of yellow. I was thinking, I think it's going to work. This comes from a different ephemera pack, but I think those are going to work. Yeah, I think that's going to work together. So we're going to make it look like it's a vase of flowers. So in order to do that, I thought if I taped this right across here, we can kind of make it look like, you see how it kind of looks like it's a vase of flowers. So I thought that would be fun to do. And then we will dimensionalize here. Lots of dimensionals. What's fun with something like this, though, is I love how you can just come up with different ways of mixing and matching. So you don't have to have all the same exact card. If you're anything like me, I get bored making the same card over and over and over. And so doing it this way, I'm able to kind of mix and match and make the cards look different. And so it's kind of fun to see how many oh goodness, I'm shedding, and I don't want to send my hair with my project. It's fun to see how many different types of like occasions, and I'm adding a birthday card in here. So, and I've used some white bases, some color bases, you know, just kind of mixing it up. So next, we've got these, and I'm pairing it with Balmy Blue with the polka dots here. So, and then I'm going to use these puffy, these are puffy stickers from the it's like, hold on, I've got them sitting here. These are the Beach Boardwalk Puffy stickers. And then the Hooray comes from another new ephemera pack, and that is this one, and it's called Unforgettable Times. So what I do is I cut open my ephemera. I keep the plastic on the cardboard so that I know what the name of my, there's glaring, what the name of the ephemera pack is, and I just slide it into a cello bag. So that way, if my ephemera starts to fall out of the sheets, which it totally does all the time, I can just have it right in a bag. So, and I'm going to use this one on the next card, the beautifully adorned ephemera pack. So, you can also use stamp cases for your ephemera. That's a great way to do it as well. Okay, so how should we do this? Let's see, we've got Hooray. I just cut it. It's still on the clear plastic because this is a sticker. So I just cut it out and left it on the plastic. And I think I'm just going to do something like this. So yeah, I think that's going to work. So with the puffy sticker, I want to make sure my card doesn't get too thick. So I'm just going to tape this flat so we don't risk it being too thick in the mail. And then I'll take my puffy sticker here. Probably going to put Hooray somewhere around here. There we go. I mean, it's probably close. Let me see here. Let me do a little comparison here. It's pretty close in thickness. Actually, it might almost be the same thickness as the dimensionals. When I kind of compare it from the side, I would say the stickers are about as thick as dimensionals. So as long as you kind of keep that in mind when you're crafting, you can be mindful of not making your cards too thick for mailing. I try not to have to put extra postage on my cards, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, let me just crease this down. Okay, here's another one. And last one, card number 16, is this piece, which is Cajun Craze and Petal Pink is what we're using here. And I pulled out that Beautifully Adorned because it has these gorgeous gold flowers. They're like golden vellum, I guess I would say, is what these kind of feel like, is golden vellum. And then there was this is from the same pack as Hooray. I think this is going to work. So I'm going to tape my flower down flat. Just up here in the corner. And then we will dimensionalize this. See, I told you, I go all the way around the edge in a line. And then I cut my edging and use it on my dimensionals. The quirks we all have for crafting, right? Oh, the gold is so pretty. It is really, really pretty. So let me just show you that ephemera pack really quick, because it never quite does it justice if you're just seeing it online. Although I guess this is kind of seeing it online too, but you can kind of see the shimmer of all the gold. So there's different tags, there's leaves. There's 2 sheets of each. So this one's obviously, I've already taken the flower, but I have a whole nother sheet of it. And then there's this one with more tags and flowers and leaves. And there's 2 of those. And then the final one has some ovals and like gold seals. And there's, Let me turn that this way because there's like leaf and flowers in these seals. It's a little hard to see, but ephemera pack. So, okay. So then we will dimensionalize it. And this is perfect timing because I could use some different shape dimensionals here in order to put them on my words. So it's good timing to be cutting the edging. Take one from over there. Let's see here. I think there we go. That should be plenty. So we'll just dimensionalize our words. And we can call this a one sheet wonder because we're using an entire sheet of designer series paper. It was just already, the template was built into the piece of paper. So we didn't have to try to figure out how to magically cut the paper to get 16 cards. The squares, the pattern of the paper set it for you. So here is that last one with the gold. See if I can get it without the glare. So here are the 8 cards where I just used squares. So we've got our 8 with squares, and then we have our 8 with diagonal. So I don't think I can even get them all on screen. There's so many. But just like that, by using just this one sheet of paper here from the Square Snippets Designer Series paper, we're able to create 16 cards. So 2 different layouts because I did the rectangle cardstock and then the square cardstock up here. But then by finishing them all different, you can end up with a whole wide variety of cards. So hopefully that kind of inspires you to look at your paper and craft with it. I'll go back through and add embellishments to all of these, and they will be pictured and put on the blog later on. So if you missed any of the measurements, you can always get them on handcraftedblessings.com. There will be a blog there as well. But thanks for tuning in with me for an off-the-cuff live and 16 cards that we made together. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.